Yeah, I'm gonna skip a bunch of stuff here. Oh wait, hold on. In the name initiation, which follows, he's ordained to receive secret religious name, which is usually identical with that of the deity assigned to them during the preparatory rites. The guru prophecies that the pupil will appear as a Buddha in the future. Um, so I think these are important. It says here 6 abilities to act: mouth, arms, legs, sexual organs, urinary organs, and anus. 6 actions: speech, grasping, walking, copulation, urination, and defecation are purified, dissolved, and recreated. Okay, so during this purification process, they're going to focus on a lot of those things, right? So yeah, I'm going to skip a bunch of stuff here, right? So it's focusing on the pupil's recreation as a god through purification rituals. And it says here to examine whether the Kala chakra portrays a huge divine time machine with the Dalai Lama as a prime mover and his followers as various wheels. That's a pretty wild statement. It's talking about some concept of a divine time machine. I've like skipped over that entire thing. Seems highly cosmic in its implications, right? But I think there's a sense in which it's kind of like the Jewish rituals, right, in the temple, where this like ritual is like purifying the entire world or whatever. No, this is the rituals of the Dalai Lama, right? Yeah, I think Jake is joking there, but yeah.
The Dali mud.
It's not older than the Talmud now, because the Talmud is like in in the 500 to 700, I think, AD, and this is like after 1100 AD, right? So yeah. So if you want to know the time frame, right? So yeah, we're moving on to the secret initiations now. So hang on to your hats, folks, right? The 7 lower
And your
initiations are
butts.
exactly. The 7 lower initiations are supposed to purify the pupil and then transform him into a deity. For this reason, they are referred to as a stage of production. The following higher initiations. Oh yeah, hold on. Let me welcome Frank Monday and also grab my coffee here. Blessings.
Yeah, blessings, gentlemen. Greetings, salutations.
Salutations, that's a good one.
Yeah, it looks like we're getting into the thick of it. Should be good.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. Like I had to search like 3 or 4 times. I'd like search different combinations of words like Dalai Lama, like poop, like pee, gay stuff, Dalai
Sad
Lama,
trombone.
Dalai Lama plus sex ritual, poop, all this
Yeah,
crazy combinations of
it's
words that I use.
yeah, it's interesting how much has actually been stricken from the official record. It's like they don't want us to know.
Yeah, of course there was a famous incident where he like kissed like a boy in the mouth. Everybody was like in uproar. And but yeah, dude, it's crazy stuff. But yeah, it says here, the following 4 higher initiations are considered the stage of perfection. They are known as the vase initiation, the secret initiation. Wait, isn't it all secret? Seems kind of redundant. The wisdom initiation and the word initiation. They may only be received under conditions of absolute secrecy. Okay, so they're not doing these ones in public, right? In all higher initiations, the presence of a young woman of 10, 12, 16, or 20 years of age. Without a living karma mudra, enlightenment cannot, at least according to the original text, be attained in this lifetime. The union with her thus counts as the key event in the external action of the rituals. Thus, as the fourth book of the Kala Chakra Tantra says with emphasis. So they need a female participant for these higher rituals.
Yeah, I thought it would be a good time to bring forward the Taoist perspective. Go Hong had a lot to say on this. He recommended 15 to 20. After 25, the woman is essentially useless for cultivation. And his suggestion was 10 each evening.
10 what exactly?
10 prepubescent lactating gals for sexual practice, kung fu, and without discharging the semen.
Say what?
Yeah, brought to orgasm and then absorbed through the stem, and then then you rest. He considered it a medicinal practice.
Yeah, Frank's drawing the picture in terms of so what year is this guy?
Go Hong would be about 200 AD, I believe.
200 AD, right? So 200 AD, there's this guy, right?
Are you? Is
Obviously,
he? That sounds like edging.
there's Gnostics that did stuff like that too. There's Gnostics like Sethians and stuff. I don't know if Ophites had sex rituals, but I think Sethians had sex rituals or something like that.
It's one of them that at least one of those groups that are crazy like that. I think it's
Yeah.
Ophites, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, so
the technocratic elite are very carnal, and they tend to read a lot of literature. Like I think even Epstein had copies of Marcus de Sade, and then they read Battelle, Georges Battelle, and stuff like that. They
yeah,
tend to
George's betrayal is like butt stuff.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Yeah, I just double checked the reference. Go Hong was Jin Dynasty from 265 to 420 AD.
420, you say? Well, shit.
Nice. They knew what was up.
Yeah, so let's see this. He says, neither meditation nor recitation of mantras, nor the preparation of the great mandalas, thrones, nor the initiation of the sand mandala, nor the summonizing of the Buddhas confers supernatural powers, but alone the mudra. Further, in the higher initiations, the adept is obliged to ritually consume the 5 types of meat: human flesh, elephant meat, horse flesh, dog, and beef. And drink 5 nectars. Blood, semen, menses. And I guess it says you could guess what the other 2 are, right? So yeah. In texts which are addressed to the broad public, the vase initiation is euphemistically described as follows. The Vajra master holds a vase before the Sandaka's eyes. The adept visualizes a sacrificial goddess who carries the vase. The vessel is filled with white fluid. In reality, however, the following initiation scene is played out. First, the pupil brings the Lama a beautiful girl without blemish, 12 years of age. He then supplicates to receive initiation and sings a hymn of praise of his guru. Satisfied, the master then touches the breast of the mudra in a worldly manner. This all takes place before the pupil's watchful gaze, thus to stimulate the latter's sexual desire. According to another passage in the text, but likewise in reference to Kala Chakra Tantra, the Vajra master shows the undressed girl to the sadhaka and requires him to now stroke the breasts of the Karma Mudra himself. There is not actually any vase or any pot that is used for this empowerment. We are informed by Nagawang Dargay. I pronounce it to the best of my ability. A modern commentator on the Time Tantra, quote, what is referred to as the pot are the breasts of the girl, which are called the vase that holds the white. We have already drawn attention to the fact that this white substance is probably the same magic secretion from the female's breast, which European alchemists on the 17th day enthusiastically described as quote-unquote virgin's milk, and whose consumption promised great magical powers for the adept. The sight of the naked girl and stroking of her breast causes the descent of the male seed in the pupil. In the tantric view of things, this originally finds itself at a point below the roof of the skull. So we see where that stuff comes from, right? And begins to flow down through the body into the penis when a man becomes sexually aroused. Under no circumstances may it come to the point of ejaculation here. If the pupil successfully masters his lust, he attains the 8th initiation stage, which is known as immobile, on the basis of fixation of the semen in the phallus. Sexual magic, folks.
Yeah, here the Taoists would refer to this as cutting the white tiger, I believe. And Ge Hong, in this reference, wrote the book The Bao Pu Zi, or Embracing Simplicity, where it integrates metaphysics, Taoist theology, the arts of necromancy, astrology, and medicine, pills of immortality, ancient cooking vessels of pills, magic figures, incantations, and Confucianism and immortality into a whole system, thus establishing a theoretical system of Taoist supernatural beings. Just a brief note on pills of immortality. One of the so-called
brief note about them is don't eat them. Whatever you do,
bears.
you might not wake up. But yeah.
One of them that I was going to mention that ties in with where you began with the 12-year-old gal is that in the Shen Shen Zhuan, another text by Ge Hong, he says that if you take a red Chinese dried date and insert it into the vagina of said gal, and it steeps there for 2 weeks, upon removal, it's a pill of immortality. Not to be practiced at home, everyone.
So it's just like give birth to a baby fruit.
No, you take it out and eat it. They said if you fed it to an alley cat, he would screw himself to death.
There's people who eat placenta. You guys hear about this shit?
That's in Chinese medicine.
I wouldn't
absolutely.
be surprised.
Yeah.
Dried human placenta. It appears in all kinds of tonics.
Yeah, it's wild, man. So where are they getting that from? No.
Along with resin from the hides of wild black donkeys and red spotted lizards. Oh, and horny toad's a good one for an aphrodisiac.
ESP says pass.
Yeah, hard pass on that stuff.
Little Spanish fly.
Yeah, so so this gets a little bit more weird. I mean,
It does, and it's fair that you gave a warning early on that folks of a sensitive nature might want to be warned.
Yeah, I definitely might have to put this.
Director Jodorowsky, I don't really like him. His stuff is kind of like transgressive, esoteric crap. Yeah, Jodorowsky made El Topo, and I think he had lots of connections with powerful people too. Jodorowsky. You know who I'm talking about?
No.
Oh, here I go. Like Alejandro Jodorowsky. His films are very full of weird Kabbalistic transgressive stuff. And I don't really like it. I do not like it. I'm just saying that. I was just wondering.
Right, and the fact that you mentioned Crowley a moment ago, it all predates him, and it kind of brings us back to his origin, which would likely, in my mind, be the Hermetic Brotherhood of Luxor and Pascal Beverly Randolph.
Why does it always come back to goddamn Crowley?
Yeah, so there's pedo stuff going on here. Obviously, the disciple is also probably a young person, I think, right? So it's also it's like an older person doing sexual stuff with two kids, pretty much. Right? But yeah, so it says firstly the adept hands valuable clothes and sacrificial offerings over to the master. Then he presents him with a young and gracile girl. The Lama demands that the Sadaka leave the room or blindfold himself. Tantric dishes are served. The master venerates and praises the mudra with songs of adulation, elevates her to the status of goddess, and then couples with her until her sexual fluids flow. Then he then exceptionally allows his semen to flow into her vagina. The mixture of red and white fluid thus created, that is, of male and female seed, is scooped out of the sexual organs of the wisdom consort with a finger or a small ivory spoon and collected in a vessel. The master then summons the pupil and instructs him to remove his blindfold. He now takes some of the holy substance with his finger. Once more, then moistens the tongue of the adept. With it, will speaking the words, "This is your sacrament, dear one," as taught by all Buddhas. Yeah, right. But yeah, interesting.
Yeah, right. Sounds like we're verging into the realm of the homunculus.
Homunculus. But yeah, then he says the pupil answers, "Today my birth has become fruitful. Today my life is fruitful. Today I've been born in the Buddha family. Now I'm a son of the Buddhas." Concretely, this means he has, through the consumption of the female and male seed, attained the status of an androgyne.
Ruh-roh.
But there are also other versions of the second initiation. When we read that, the pupil visualizes the secret Vajra of the Vajra master in his own mouth and tastes the white of the Guru Lama, the white bodhicitta. Okay, I believe that's sinks to his own heart chakra, and doing generates bliss. The name secret initiation is thus also a result of the fact that one partakes in the secret substance of the Vajra master. In truth means the guru lays his sperm-filled penis in the mouth of the adept, and the latter tastes the semen. The white bodhicitta is the secret substance.
I guess
Is
we
that
know why
the secret sauce?
I guess we know
Satchel.
why the technocratic elite are obsessed with Tibet now.
This
Yeah,
is
right.
this is very close. Like from what I've some of the stuff I've read, this is really spooky.
I have a question. Have you read that book about CIA killers? Like most of the serial killers in the 70s and 80s were CIA controlled, like
Which one?
Programmed to
There's
Kill.
probably like a bunch of them.
Programmed
Books,
to
I
Kill.
mean.
Have you heard of the book Programmed to Kill?
That's what's his face? Not Delgado, is it? No,
Uh,
wait. I
no,
think I have it.
it's a book by David McGowan. He basically
Yeah.
he ties all the serial killers to like occult stuff and CIA mind control. I haven't read it, so I don't know, but I was curious.
Stagnation.
And there's some interesting stuff. For example, Ted Bundy, he took his friends to a high-profile politician's office. You believe that? Like he actually went to that office with his friends and showed them around. I think it was Ted Bundy, or no, Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer, my bad. It was Jeffrey Dahmer who took his friends to like a high-profile politician's office. And I've always thought that was strange.
Yeah, it seems like birds of a feather flock together.
And that's why I don't like left-hand crap. You know what I mean? Left-hand crap. That's not my kind of thing. I do not like it.
Yeah. Yeah, this goes on for a while. And I think there's also 4 higher initiations. But yeah, anyways,
And the time reference was, did you say 500 to 1200 AD?
no. I think this would have to be after the 1100s
Oh, okay.
because I think it's incorporating the Kala chakra. So I think that's relatively late developments. Let me actually see. Yeah, let me see. Like type this into this Google thing. But yeah, obviously Mahayana is like 1st century, and then it says that Vajrayana is like 7th century, and then it says Buddhist in Tibet is 6th to 9th centuries, right? So I mean, I would say like after 1000s, right? You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. If I had to err on the side of caution, right? I would say around that time frame, right?
Blessings, yeah. Makes sense.
So I would say like 1000s to 1100s, it would be like maybe established, right? I don't know, right? Maybe it developed like 200, 300 years later. Who knows? It's like Catholicism or something. I don't know. So yeah, interesting stuff. But yeah, I don't think it'll. I think that then we'd have to research when they incorporated these rituals as well. So there's the last piece of the puzzle. So it could have been a little bit later than that. Okay, so I read all this. Okay, so in the wisdom initiation, which follows, the pupil is confronted with an even more sexually provocative scene. Oh, he is told to look at the spreading vagina of a knowledge lady. A what lady? A knowledge lady. Fierce passion arises in him, which in turn induces great bliss. The Tantra master then gives the Sadaka girl with the words, "O great being, take this consort who will give you bliss," quote unquote. Both are instructed to engage in sexual union. During the ritual performance of the Yuganada, or the fusion, the adept may under no circumstances let go of his semen. So that's what Frank there was talking about, right? The Kala Chakra Tantra does not give away all the secrets which are played out during this scene. It therefore makes sense to fall back upon the Tantra text in order to gain more precise information about the proceedings during the 10th initiation stage. For example, Kada Maharasana Tantra. Once the master has left the room, the mudra now provokes the pupil with culinary obscenities. Okay, now this is okay. She asks him to eat her poop and suck the blood from inside her vagina. So I'm not going to read the excruciating details of that, but those are the two things that it describes there with it.
Do you think a lot of popular media and the technological system is like initiation into like, you know, losing tradition and embracing like a left hand, antinomian, I don't know, evil or something? Like, you see what I'm trying to say? Because let me tell you something interesting. I don't see most people bring this up, but the creator, I hate this show, Rick and Morty, the creator of Rick and Morty, he once put out a video where he got this baby doll and he was like fucking the baby doll, and I'm like, why isn't this guy in jail? Like, he's putting out this video of fucking a baby doll, and that's real, you know. And then I was thinking that Rick and Morty, all it promotes is nihilism, you know, and it promotes it with jokes, you know, like. And I'm thinking that's like the soul of modernity, you know, Rick and Morty bullshit. You see what I mean? And
Yeah,
you know,
and all
I
of
feel
that is
like it's
I
dark.
was
I'm
just going to
like,
say all of that is diametrically opposed to Chinese Tao, and that the menstrual cycle in the blood is absolutely to be avoided in intercourse.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, we got Mr. Pie out here after a long
Sorry
time.
for going off topic. Sorry for going off topic. I just
No, it's all good.
Yeah.
No, it's no worries. Please feel free to redirect the conversation. But yeah.
At this point, it almost seems better to redirect the conversation.
Distract yourself.
Yeah, they're getting dank.
Yeah, we're live over here at the Machine Lives. So if you want to come through, Mr. Pie, definitely. I'll drop the link in the chat. I mean, another potential panelist. Right? But yeah. So yeah. So they're eating poop. They're drinking period blood. They're fucking drinking up semen. Some wild shit, folks. Literally. Then the candidate must say, "Oh yeah, I'm not going to read all that." Yeah.
Expletive deleted.
Yeah,
cetera.
basically the female participant asks him to eat the poo poo and to drink the pee pee. And he
Eat the
agreed.
poo-poo.
Bad
And he
idea.
agreed.
Bad idea.
Yeah, so then and he calls her mother in the process. But yeah, interesting. But yeah, the final word initiation is a real sense, no longer an initiation by the guru. As its name indicates, it only exists in literal form. It is thus not revealed in any external scenario, but takes place exclusively in the inner subtle body of the former pupil, since the latter has already made the switch to perfected consciousness and been transformed into a deity. a commentary upon the 11th higher initiation, thus belongs to the 8th chapter, which concerns the microcosmic process in the energy body of the practitioner. Sperm and menstrual blood as magical substances. But before we continue with the discussion of 4 highest initiations, we would like to make a number of reflections of the topic of sperm gnosis. That's right, sperm gnosis. It says, which okay,
Sheesh.
I think we'll have
You
to.
should be seeking this knowledge to expose evil. That's something Christians are supposed to do.
we don't seek knowledge. That's Gnosticism.
But can I finish my inquiry, please, before
do.
you move off of it? If you masturbate with a wooden dildo, and that's conceivably fine, but having sex with a tree which is alive is not, then the only threshold breaker there is that the wood is dead.
The wood is dead.
Yeah, speaking of, all this occult, the creepy stuff and the transgressive stuff, most people don't realize, but the internet has something, well, dark web and deep net, full of transgressive servers, and, the dark web is very creepy. Yeah, it's very creepy. There's a lot of creepy stuff on the dark web. And in a way, maybe this occult creepy stuff kind of represents the true face of the technological industrial system, which is normalizing transgression. You know what I mean? That's a very pessimistic view, but it does seem to be true because a lot of people are desensitized towards violence from seeing endless slaughter and other crap on TV, other stuff. And also, like I showed, a lot of it does portray it in a humorous manner. Like they're trying to make a mockery out of the suffering of sentient beings. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it seems too that they're using it as a covert means to instigate parasitic and demonic possession in people.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like the book I was reading, Tech Gnosis, it does kind of touch on that stuff. Yeah, but yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly. I think these guys would make a Maria Abramovic blush. For sure.
She's probably into that stuff.
Well, we only see the surface. We don't see everything she does, to be honest. Maybe she does
Barely scratching the surface.
Yeah, exactly. She probably does way worse stuff than we're told.
We can't even say on YouTube the kind of stuff,
I don't get how that Rick and Morty guy got, the creator of it, got off scot-free, and Rick and Morty.
Clearly he's got connections. Then.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess you're right. Yeah, I hate that show. Yeah, there's a lot of, it just tries to portray nihilism as being all trendy and good and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a hot button video, TML, for sure.
Yeah, this video and the last video, oof, it's a spicy meatball.
Where's the coordinated attack now?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Bad
Yeah, where
trombone.
y'all at? I think they gave up. I think they're like, let's see what comes up, because I dealt with that in a very specific way. Right? I think I let them know what's up because I tried to apologize. I was then being overbearing, and then I tried to edit out the situation, all this type of stuff. So I don't know, man. Obviously there's not a lot of effect that it had. I mean, we've had low numbers, so that hasn't really changed.
Oh, and TML, I forgot to ask. I'm simul streaming to my channel. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I don't care. Blessings.
Okay, blessings. Thank you.
So you live in China, Frank Monday? You live in China?
I do, yeah. I'm in Old Peking. I've been here for 25 years now.
Oh, wow, that's cool. Yeah. So, you're Tai Chi. So you practice a lot of Tai Chi.
Well, no, my mainstays are Xingyi and Bagua. Taiji is kind of an elevated practice. You're not supposed to, according to traditional teaching, you shouldn't start it until you're after 50, which I am now. But yeah, like the Guqin and Taiji and certain other internal practices, they say you shouldn't start while you're young. You should just do Kung Fu. So yeah, I like Kung Fu.
Can I ask you, who is your favorite Chinese poet? Like your most favorite Chinese poet, and if you can, like, is there a good English translation of it? Like, I'm just curious. Who's your favorite Chinese poet?
Oh yeah, a couple of the mainstream Tong guys, Li Bai and Du Fu, they're definitely greats. That's what I actually studied at university, was the Chun Tong Shi, which includes 40,000 poems from the Tang Dynasty. But one of my favorite Tang poets is actually a Kung Fu guy. His name is Master Liu Dongbing, and he's a part of the Eight Immortals. And he wrote a lot of poetry about drinking and brothling and other fun things. And he was said to have fallen asleep at a temple one time and fought off 200 bandit ghosts with a sword of spiritual power. So yeah, he's a fun guy.
You know about Red Pine? You know about
Sounds
Red
pretty
Pine?
badass.
You know about Red Pine, or not really? The translator Red Pine. Or no?
Yeah, I believe I've read it, but it was a long time ago. You could tell me about it.
Yeah, my favorite poetry tends to be translated by Red Pine. I like his poetry of Cold Mountain, Hanshan, and I like his poetry of Wang Wei. No, it wasn't Wang Wei. Some other figure. It was.
Oh, right. There were good. Go ahead. There were good publications by Shambhala Editions, I believe, out of Boston.
Yeah, there's a lot to read. Yeah, so yeah, I think it was Hanshan, and oh yeah, it was Stonehouse. Yeah, I like Stonehouse's poetry too, translated by Red Pine.
It seems like Thomas Cleary was the one who brought the transliteration for it on both of those, right?
I believe he did do some translations, but Red Pine is separate from Thomas Cleary. I did read like half of the Blue Cliff Record from Thomas Cleary. I know he translated the Blue Cliff Record. You know about the Blue Cliff Record? Or
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Okay.
Blue Cliff Record is from Chan. You know, I actually know more about the Chan tradition than Taoism, to be honest. So, you know,
Yeah,
like
I believe I have a translation of Blue Cliff Record. Yeah.
yeah, that's done by Thomas Cleary and his brother, most likely.
Okay, yeah, a little out of my ken on those.
Chan started from Bodhidharma around Central Asia. He went there, and then he transmitted the teachings to China. It had some Taoist influence too in the process. And Hu Ning was one of the biggest figures in the Chan tradition. He wrote the Platform Sutra. You know, Red Pine tends to focus more on the Chan figures, but he has done some translations of the Taoist texts like Tao Te Ching and other stuff. But he mainly focuses on Chan tradition. Yeah, I have a stronger background in Chan tradition, not so much Taoism, but I do respect Taoism, though. I do respect Taoism.
Yeah, I actually don't know who translated this Blue Cliff Record excerpts. It's from a compilation I have. It also has Platform Sutra. But yeah.
China has a very rich tradition. You can spend, you know, your entire life reading Chinese stuff or learning their culture, and yet you still don't scratch the surface. So much stuff, you know. The Neo-Confucians, I find them interesting too. The Neo-Confucians, I read a little bit about them.
Yeah, true facts. Anything that kind of deviates from the school of like complete clarity in Tao would be outside of my ken, just because I haven't researched it. There's so much within Tong, and like if you go further back to Huangdi and some of the practices of internal Tao prior to like the influence of Buddhism, yeah,
I understand. That's cool. Yeah, I should probably learn more about that stuff myself. That's outside of my specialty also, but it's cool though. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, that's why we meet upon the level, right? We can bring what each other lacks.
Yeah, exactly. I know internal alchemy is very interesting stuff. My friend used to be into that too, internal alchemy.
Jamgon Control. I haven't heard about that, but I do have something from Shambhala Publications, a book by Chogyam Trungpa. So yeah, interesting stuff. Yeah, Shambhala Publications. It's just funny that it's called that. I know, but yeah,
Shambhala.
Shambhala. But yeah, yeah, but yeah. Blessings, Mr. Pie. How you doing today?
Blessings.
Yeah, we're reading about the sacred, you know what I mean, rituals of the Dalai Lama, which includes pedo stuff, eating poop, drinking semen and having gay sex, apparently. So yeah, it's incredible stuff, and I think to expose to people, you know, that they're doing these pedo rituals, I mean, or whatever, pedo pogo, right? So yeah, I mean,
I mean,
so
I guess humans have been into some weird shit from the beginning of time.
yeah, but this
mean,
is
like-
not even. This is a little bit. The road swings off at about the 1000s or the 1100s or so, you know, when they incorporate these Kala Chakra or Vajrayana, you know, left hand path rituals into the Buddhist practice, right? And of course, Tibet has a long tradition. They also incorporated the Bon tradition of ritual mysticism, right? So it's pretty weird, but yeah. So there's a female participant in this
That's
ritual.
definitely an understatement.
Yeah. And yeah, they're drinking period blood, and they're eating poop, right? And yeah, so that's what we've collected so far.
So,
from this.
so what did they have? Some kind of divine, like for what? For physical purposes, or for some
Spiritual, physical. Yeah, I mean, I guess the
like
tantra.
to like cross from to transcend the road between spiritual and physical.
Exactly. The tantric practices are meant to transcend the road between you know, spiritual and physical, and that's you know, part of the left hand path practices, right? And somebody was saying that this stuff makes a Brima Abramovich, you know, it would make a Marina Abramovich blush, right? So we're kind of looking at that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it may be why when Chairman Mao showed up there, he said that religion is poison.
I mean, do you think that this is why, like the like Hollywood and all these elites or these people that have some kind of knowledge of something else that we don't or do? A lot of the bloodline, like a lot of people don't study the blood as much as they should. So whether you get illnesses or sicknesses, like are you? They say that they are looking for the bloodlines in certain people. So where you're like AB negative or I mean, there's just a certain type of bloodlines that they want to share these, or maybe you have a certain power or something. I don't know. Maybe there is some kind of power in the blood because it's in your cells. Like that's the ultimate, like the micro part of our body is on a cellular level is the blood. It
And
regenerates everything.
it could be the continuation of these blood-borne parasites.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought it's fascinating that people they don't correlate a lot of stuff with what kind of blood type you are, like the diseases or how you get sick or cancer, or whether cancer's derived from what we're putting in our bodies or if it's genetic or if it is kind of some kind of. But if you do have some kind of way to kind of see beyond what most people see in this realm, I don't know if that's just part of who you are when it comes down to the blood or what, but it's fascinating to me that no one really talks about it. I don't know how much like information or books there are on it. I haven't heard many people talk about. I saw some weird dude on Facebook. I followed him for a while, and he broke it down in the craziest aspects. And I was like, I think I screenshotted a lot of it and like saved it to my emails, or I sent emails to myself so I wouldn't lose it because he kind of disappeared after a while. But it was kind of some fascinating shit, and he broke it down in very like minute, like finite detail. I don't know how much of it's true because you can be gullible and read anything online nowadays, but I hadn't seen much about bloodlines until I was reading it.
Let me ask you this. I remember reading something that most of the US presidents, like I think over half of them have been related, like cousins or distant cousins. Have you ever heard of that? Most of the US presidents have been related.
I think it's like all but one or something.
Yeah, something like that. So they most certainly value bloodline. We know that for sure. They most certainly value it.
And I wonder, but so my question is like, how much, like, what does that blood, and does it go all the way to Cain and Abel to the beginning of time, or do you know from the original bloodlines of the beginning? I don't know. That's why it's fascinating to me. What does anyone have thoughts on? Does anyone have thoughts on that? Frank?
You know about the Black Eye Club, right? The Black Eye Club. Have you seen the picture of all those famous leaders with a black eye? You know? Yeah.
They say they put in like Vril, or I mean, I don't know. It depends on how deep on a conspiracy you want to go about Arcturians, reptilian. Like, I don't know. There's just all kinds of crazy shit, and I don't know. Like Frank, you said that the Chinese, like, they're the only ones that like they kept records that go back further than their language didn't change. You know, like Latin got disrupted, and Hebrew and all these different languages. So it's like these books have been passed down, but when they get translated, it gets kind of got like lost. Some stuff gets lost in the sauce, or we don't know exactly if it was interpreted correctly. And how are we ever going to know? There's like millions of books, and
the truth is, we do know for a fact that books have been changed over the years.
Mm-hmm.
So we do know that they have been changed. It's about finding the original source, and then you can use that for anything. Now, if you can't find the original, if you're just going off some incomplete, altered version of anything, so you can't even use it in an argument.
My other question is that even if you go to the origin, like let's say you did find some original text of these, like research or our knowledge of the ancients, I mean, they could have been wrong too about a lot of shit, because we continually are wrong about a lot of shit. So even if we found this ancient knowledge of what we thought to be the most truest, like the most true revealing thing about what we thought, or what are the philosophers and the greatest minds used to think, maybe they weren't even the greatest minds at all. Maybe they were wrong about a lot of shit. So even if we found those texts, like, what if they were wrong? So
there were people who had too much time and sat around and just got to think, made stuff up, and everyone started promoting it.
No, but it's simpler.
No,
but it's even simpler than that.
They should have been out in the field working, and said somehow they got supported for coming up with crazy ideas.
Yeah, totally. But it's even simpler than that in a way, because it's like, in a way, these were not the greatest thinkers. It's just they just picked who decides to speak on behalf of everyone else, right?
Yeah.
So like, there's a lot of thinkers like me and Avian talk about, or me and Reddington talk about, that they don't even mention, right? So we're trying to decide, like, well, but if you look at their work, it's like these motherfuckers wrote more books and thought of things that these other guys never even thought of.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, it's like we're being constantly deluded as to who the experts are. And then there's a problem with the pop scientists, pop philosophers.
Yeah.
And right, because most people tend to filter knowledge through these means. They don't even look at people with actual expertise. Right?
Yeah, like you say, like, or people like question Einstein. It's like, oh, Einstein, but it's like apparently, like, maybe he was a charlatan, or he stole idea, or a lot of these guys when it comes to science, or a lot of these people, they were stealing ideas from someone else that was greater, but they did it for. I mean, I guess this happened to me tonight, this has perplexed me, because I went to go meet Landry to get the Jack, not to bring up drama, but like the Jack Landry, hard drive or whatever. And I met him in person, and I thought it was a good, night. Like, I thought I was opening up to him. He was wanting to film it. And I realized that he is, like, he's on the stream, and I made a comment or something, and he started deleting my comments. And it was like, dude, I thought we had I was opening up. Like, I just wasn't he couldn't make a docu-series about me, or I wasn't as interesting as he thought. And it was, I don't know, it was fascinating to me because I'm like sitting here thinking, and I thought, damn, people are so fucking fake. It's like everyone thinks, I mean, almost Jack Jalcott was almost more real than he was when met with Jack for that night, because he was at least considerate, drove me home, and was polite. And whether he has his own grandiose delusions or whatever, I just, I'm sitting here having dinner with the guy, thinking we're having a connection or a good talk or something, and then afterwards it's just kind of like, I don't know, it was just, it perplexed me and made me think, like, made me go back into question again, like everything. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? It was just fascinating. So
yeah, there's not too many like real people out here. It just seemed like, or the interactions that are had backstage are not the ones that are contrived, right? Or whatever. And they have like, so, I mean, I think that there's two distinct networks, and I've actually talked about this before, I think there's actually two distinct camps, right, within the various shows, right? And you can notice this by who goes on the panels and who's in the chats. Right. So I think that there's possibly two production companies, right, that are running the entire thing. Like, for example, Jack said that the Landry guy was suggested to be on his show, right, by Rose 777, right, who's actually produced a number of notable shows.
Yeah.
Right. So
she was texting him while we were at dinner. He's like, "Oh, I barely talked to her," and like they were texting back and forth, and I thought. And she's kind of from a powerful family, and her mom's wrote a book, and she comes from big money and does Crow 777 and all this other stuff.
And then I noticed, like, for example, like Sarah, right, who runs a debate show, right? Like, she reached over and messaged me and said, well, what are your worldview and your preferences? And she made a list of debate items, right, that could be on the pro or con side of, or whatever, right? And she must have sent this as a mass email to a bunch of people, right?
Is that the Rotten or whatever Tomatoes?
Yeah, but her entire show is being produced by the Crucible or whatever. So because you could tell, because she receives a significant amount of donations from that group of people.
Oh, that makes sense. So that's how she got the, like, there's all these like what is it, like 6 degrees of separation. So Andrew, so you'll see like they have different donors on the channels, right? And they'll try to get the different donors to come on the different channels to give donations to different people, right? So those donors, they're representatives of production companies. You get what I mean? So they're all trying to push some kind of message or their own agenda of what they want to.
Well, I think there's two distinct. I think there's two distinct messages, right? There's one. There's the Christian conservatives, right, and then there's the conspiracy groups, right? So the fake conspiracy groups and the fake Christian conservative groups, they're all springing out from the QAnon thing, right? Because the QAnon thing is two items: it's radical conservatism and it's conspiracy theories. Right, so they've created this online space, right, this panelverse full of fake conspiracy shows and fake debate shows that debate conservative values, right, when none of the people that run these debate shows are conservatives or intellectuals.
Yeah, they don't.
Right. So real quick, TML, in your opinion, as the upshot, what is the hidden agenda here?
I think the hidden, obviously the hidden agenda is to control the narrative on these two items that I just presented, right? On the one side, right, fake conspiracy shit, right? And on the other side, right, conservative values, right? So they find, find Christians and Muslims and get them to debate each other, and find out what radical views they have, right? And then they get a bunch of people with weird conspiracies together and funnel them into groups so that they can spy on them, right? DK, what?
You do realize
DK was going to say, and then Avian.
Conspiracy investigation. So it's basically looking into everything, because I don't like the term conspiracy theorist. Like, I fully hate it. It took me months to come up with the name conspiracy investigator, because no one can run you down for investigating something. But if you label yourself or allow them to label you a conspiracy investigator, it's like you're going to have no end of grief.
Agreed,
See, I
DK.
just
And
try
if
debunk- no, see, here's how you do it. You try and debunk something. That's it.
well, and if I may, I'd like to add real quick, TML, to get back to center that and they tend to be using a type of like amoeba-like pattern of assimilating what is the zeitgeist of each presenter. Like, I've seen your stuff being echoed through certain mouths that don't give any type of citation, because I've been paying attention long enough.
Yeah. I've seen that too. But Avian, were you gonna say something?
I think it's like I remember reading somewhere it was 4 companies control the production and manufacturing of most things in America, or probably even the world.
Yeah,
And
it's the world. Yeah, 4 corporations control
Yeah,
everything.
4 corporations.
Well,
Yes,
so
yeah,
I mean,
probably
There's like
they're
3 that
controlling
have
the
shares in
overtime.
all of them.
have you
Yeah,
got,
no, it's actually more than 3. Everyone only
But-
knows 3 names. There is BlackRock,
Sorry, I missed that, guys.
State Street, and there is another couple that are a little bit further down the chain, but it's not just the 3, they are just the 3 biggest. But all of them and all of their shareholders all invest in each other's companies. So all of them invest in each other as well.
yeah, they
Yep.
create a shell company into a shell to where they cycle all the money to where they don't even pay
It's
tax.
basically an illegal monopoly, but
Yeah.
no one has actually come outright and said it yet.
But so, have any of you guys ever like read any of the Q drops? Like, it's really not because when I had my awakening, it was when I got sober and all this other shit that happened. But it's like to me, it was only like that God led me to certain things. Like, one thing led to another, and I didn't feel like I was being so gullible, but it kind of opened my eyes to Q, whether it's real or not, or they call it a psyop or like Operation Trust or whatever else. But I didn't even know anything about the Rothschilds or Rockefellers or the Bloodlines or George Soros or the media companies, and there's only like 6 of them, and like it led so much information. And people said, well, Q is like for a bunch of like retard, Q, they call them Q-tards, or like people that, and I don't understand why you would have a little niche group that was not even that many people know about it. But if you actually really read it all, if it was the bad people trying to let you know this intelligence, like, why would they even give that out, all this information? Because I would have never even known more than half the things I know now had I not read those. And like, they have these deltas and all these things that it's just patterns, and like you start to see it, and I'm like, so yeah, I mean, I whether it's true or not, and it's a military operation or this or succinct or time travel shit, I don't know. It's like, that's why it starts diluting everything about science, magic, I don't know, portals, fucking time travel, everything. And it just kind of starts you questioning like everything about this reality in general. And it makes me think there's really no such thing as coincidences. And to me, it opened my brain in a different way, whether it's good or a bad thing or not. It opened my mind to do a lot of research. And they call the truthers now, nowadays online, and everyone claims to know the truth. And that's what's, at some point, I started to question everything, because it's like, now I'm so,
I think that's a bad kind of mindset to get into. It's a bit pessimistic. But real quick, if I may, Avian Buddha, could you quickly reiterate your point you made a moment ago? Because I entirely missed it. And sorry, and blessings.
You mean the point about it was like 4 corporations controlling everything? Well, DK Sparcy said it was BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street, and then they like cycle in the money and have an illegal monopoly.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yes, and thank you.
Like, yeah, without a doubt, that's exactly what happens. Like, is happening. See, they're trying to even do things where when some property management firm, like, well, they'll just offer them money, and it'll be a phenomenal amount of money. And they'll take over the management of all the rental properties. There was one town in America, I can't remember which town it said it was, like 23,000 people, and they invested $9 million in all the rental properties, and added another 50% on the rent for everyone, and said instead of month-to-month lease, you actually have to sign a fixed-term lease. So everyone is about to lose their home or lose another 50% of whatever their rent is. So holy shit. We're watching the destruction of Western society in real time. And there's still groups of people saying it's not happening. See, I'm not for destroying any other society, I know. Except maybe I think we need to sort out the Khazarian mafia and shit. I think that needs to be sorted. But see, I'm not really anti any other group. It's like there's only one group that's causing shit for everyone else everywhere else. Why is it so wrong for us to actually want to keep our race and our culture going? Why are we the only race that isn't allowed to claim minority status when we're apparently like 7% of the world's population? There's more Indians, there's more blacks, there's more Africans, more Asians than white people. Yet all of them are fucking minorities and get given everything. I don't think people realize exactly what's happening half the time. We are the ones that are getting run over and railroaded and used as an excuse for what's wrong with everything, when honestly, it has been the fucking Khazarian mafia running all of these institutions the whole time because they infiltrated them. And so they pretend to be white, and then after things go bad, they're like, no, it wasn't me. It was the white man. I'm Jewish. I didn't do it. So they try and pin everything on the white man when they're pretending to be white. People really need to start waking up to what's really going on.
Well, they've been causing trouble since ancient Egypt, really, And
the Netherlands just made them a security threat. I think it was the Netherlands. Just made them a national security threat. I just found that today. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, because I'm a couple of days behind in my messages on Telegram. I got like 400 messages to check through, so it could be a couple of days ago. But Netherlands has apparently said that Israel is a national security threat.
Yeah, most definitely is. But yeah, let me play some music here and move to some actually, let me actually organize the rest of the program here. Let me actually bring back the rest of this reading here about the Kala Chakra right on Saturday, right, of the upcoming week. Right, we'll also read Philip Collins' Faustian Face of Modern Science. We're now going to move to maybe look at the Mumford documentary, read some of Ellul, and then we'll move to some of the ideas from Samuel Butler and the Mechanical Creation. But first, also Shang Tzu. We're gonna do Shang Tzu on Wednesday. So if you guys want to get into some Shang Tzu, right? We'll do that on Wednesday. Then we'll bring back the Buddhist stuff, as I said. The rituals of the Dalai Lama, we'll do that on Saturday, right? And we'll also bring back the rest of this video on Saturday. There's another video with Rupert Sheldrake and some other people. We'll look at that one on Wednesday, right? So there's all these things, right? So there's a bunch of materials, right? And I'm obviously sequentially going through these materials, right? So I'm just telling you guys when I'll be covering what, right? So yeah, so next we'll look at the Mumford documentary. Thank you so much, Mr. Pye, for joining. And yeah, here's some music for you guys, right?
I'll be looking forward to that Shang Tzu on Wednesday.
Oh yeah, of course. And yeah, I'll try to expand on this Buddhism stuff too. We'll look at the Bon, maybe something about Bon tradition, right? Yeah. And I'm looking for my lighter, so excuse me for a second. So yeah, DK, now would be a great time to give another white nationalism speech or whatever.
Dude, it's not about white nationalism at all. It's about the white replacement theory that is happening in basically white nations.
Clergy, cough, cough.
If there is 68 Muslim nations, why does every Muslim refugee have to flood a Western nation? Why don't you go? Why don't you go to a Muslim country?
In the 1980s in Los Angeles, we called it white flight.
Yeah, that's because everyone was fucking off when all the immigration started flooding in.
Yeah, they started flooding the inner city with recent immigrants from Croatia, Somalia.
And look at it, yeah, and look at California now.
Well, we all know the answer, DK. It's because you guys are being ripped from inside out, right, by the liberal establishment within your own country. You guys have a virus, right, and you're basically infected.
Politics in the system.
Exactly.
And the virus all stems from like the Zionist Khazarian mafia agenda. That's where it comes from, and it is about all of us eventually either being wiped out or under control of one certain group. This is exactly their plan. This is in their religion. Mind you,
let me tell you this.
Mind you, Muslim religion also says that they're supposed to kill or tax anyone who won't convert to Islam. Yeah, see, I'm not stupid.
That's false.
I'm talking. Yeah, no, not shitting.
Yeah, it's totally false.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. That's Sharia law, bro.
No, that's not Sharia law. They incorporated the people who they conquered into their already existing system. They did that to the Hindus. They did that to the Christians. They did that to so many different people, right? So you're false.
Yeah, but this, yeah.
Right,
okay.
and from the Chinese perspective, I wouldn't see that playing out at all, where there's just millions
Yeah,
and
you
millions of
gotta look
Muslims
at
here.
all of history, right?
Hey,
So
sorry, my bad. It's the extremist end of any religion.
right,
Okay?
including
let me rephrase it better.
including the religion of science. I mean, so
hell yeah, these guys are crazy.
what religion is running any Muslim country? Muslim countries are not run by religion.
Let me tell you this, DK Sparcy. If I could travel back through time to any time, I would travel to the time of Cyrus, Kurosh, and I would, get rid of them. I mean, that was the biggest.
Yeah, you've actually mentioned that before and said, yeah, if you could, like that. You actually said that was the only thing you regret about your people is that they didn't eradicate the Jews when they had the chance. I believe you've said that before.
No, he was referring to a historical situation with King
Yeah, I
Cyrus.
know he was, but that's what he said. He said that's the one thing he regrets about his people is that they didn't actually do it, and Cyrus is like a traitor, and he basically
Yeah, Cyrus.
has
Yeah.
led to the destruction of the world as we currently know it.
Yeah, he was referring to a specific historical period for the reference frame of the audience.
I don't know. I hate to say it, but I think ancient Persia or Iran was kind of like America, the first golem. I hate to say it, unfortunately. Yeah, that's. I mean, yeah. I mean, it was multicultural, and they were constantly fighting with Greece. In the Achaemenid period, and then you had the Sassanids. They were hyper religious and very oppressive. The Sassanids. The Zoroastrians weren't all peaceful, loving people. They had apostasy laws. They had similar things to Demitude. You know what I mean? They actually did kill a lot of Buddhists, the Sassanids. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's what I mean. But yeah, yeah.
All right. We'll be back in a few minutes here. Thanks for yeah, and I'm gonna have to track down by looking at the previous episode what part of the Mumford documentary we're actually on. So yeah. So hang with me for a little while and we'll figure that out together. Thank you.
I was born in the past tense, but reside in the parallel. Always trying to advance to the present tense through elements confused in formats, moved by improvement on design. With flawless engineering that was tested by time's suns. Birth of the whimsical, mystical by motors alone. Desire to move forth north, locomotive zone. Souls cryptic and capsized, stranded by economics. And floating point equations combined with lo-fi sonics. The mass market appeal lost momentum at first step. Cause our birthmarks resemble the threat to the jet set. The middle class dominating, plus suppression of known facts with illuminatus references to throw us all off track. We're so fucking lost that we don't know where to start again. Oblivion is bliss, so we pretend, we pretend. The soul versus the body, mind versus the soul versus the body versus body versus body soul versus the body, mind versus the soul versus the body versus body. I mean, really, who the fuck wants to wear this mask and gun and blow the face off the first guy who tries to run? The means is the art, that's the quote for the Millennium 2002 full presentations to exemplify. We master words to intensify the message, like presage, manipulation for those too weak-minded to contemplate, undermining sexuality to creatively masturbate. You see, I cut out the process that you all go and hold true, and leave an open window for the strangers to look through. So take a good look with your memory photogenic, and I'll change the furniture, then call on the paramedics. Cause when we encounter each other and our auras collide, someone will retaliate and collapse into twisted pride. The soul versus the body, the mind versus the soul, body versus body, body versus body, soul versus the truth, mind versus the soul, body versus body, body versus body, soul versus the truth. My ego is tainted by a foreign path to motivation. Our creation motivates us out of our situations. Our situations be the way to our heart's contentment, but contentment is comfort, and comfort leads to resentment. Resentment eats away at the luscious exterior, and the interior then follows because the body is superior. Superiority leads to the forming of the complex, and complexity adds confusion and sways truth from context. Out of context leads to the forming of blurred vision, creating disillusion and the forming of superstition. Superstition enhances and justifies false thought, deteriorating all of the lessons that history has taught, and erasing our history is the first step to detriment, and detriment is death in a form that's heaven sent. Soul versus the body, mind versus the soul, body versus body, body versus body, soul versus the truth, mind versus the soul, body versus body, body versus body.
Give me a second, folks.
Also, I want to say something is related to like the techno liberalism. Like it creates this, like a lot of popular media now, like they show villages and like RPGs where there's like it's racially heterogeneous, which doesn't make sense. There's no such thing as a village that's small in a rural area that's like so racially diverse. You know what I mean? That doesn't exist. Yeah, I see in like that one ugly game, Baldur's Gate 3. The village is like full of like so many different races. Like it doesn't make sense. Like if you have a village, it's eventually it's going to become homogenous. You see what I'm saying? But in that process, you're going to lose the distinctiveness of the different people. If there's so many different people, you're going to lose that distinctiveness over time.
Well,
I mean, it's
if
obvious.
you have
I mean, I'm not
if
claiming.
you have a small village, don't you have a limited amount of space? Therefore, why would you let lots of other people move into your village? So they get to stay in hotels or whatever, and they get to visit. But if there's no houses for them, and no jobs for them,
Right. Well, then they create ghettos and
lots of people
projects
go
that
there.
breed crime.
But that's when so that's the only reason security is necessary for these outsiders who go to any other village. See, I sort of agree with who was it that was saying that the other day? Damn it. I'm sure it was on here, TML. Who was it that was going on about like the village that he wanted to, or the community that he wanted to start, but he hadn't thought through things properly?
I think you're talking about Pinoid, right?
Might have been. Yeah. It's like he had a good idea, but he just hasn't. It's like it's a superficial good idea. He hasn't thought through the actual things
Right.
that you'd need to be able to create a whole sustainable community.
Right.
That was the only thing that I had an argument with him about. I think the idea is awesome, but you need to actually fine tune that shit. Because his idea was, as I say, it was just like so superficial and just like, this is what I want it to be. It's like, yeah, but you've got no idea how to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, well, let's check out some of this documentary. I think there's like 14 minutes in here that are
What are
left
we
here.
watching? Sorry, man.
This is Mumford on the City. So it's pretty old, but yeah, we'll see if there's anything in here to work with.
No. Can you like? Because I missed it. I missed it earlier. I turned up after. I haven't seen any of this documentary yet. So explain it for like the people watching on my channel. There's another 12 people watching on DLive.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, Mumford, he wrote a book called Techniques of Man, right? And in the 1930s, he thought of a lot of those ideas that Ellul is talking about, right? So he's talking about the concept of biotechne and how man combined, right? First with techniques that were solely on the basis of man's cultural aspect, right? So he's talking about how these cultural techniques, basically comprised way more energy, right? They catalyzed way more energy than man's reliance on nature, right? So he talked about how these cultural forms were basically amalgamated by this.
Is that like a form of synergy where 1 + 1 does actually equal 3 type thing?
No, it's like this basic idea that man first had a natural form of organization and started out in small communities, right? And then
I'm meaning the word
so he would
is like the output exceeds the input. So
yeah,
when
exactly.
everyone works together, it's like the output is greater
Yeah.
than the input.
Yeah, he was sort of a innovator in thinking about cultural anthropology and about the situation between technology, cities, and human organization, and all that type of stuff. So we've been looking at a lot of Mumford's thoughts, and of course Mumford wrote like 30 years before Ellul wrote the Technological Society. So obviously the most notable work is Technics of Man. So you guys can look at that yourselves, or look at our previous presentations where we basically quoted lots of ideas from Mumford. Right.
Let me post your YouTube channel on my DLive. I did earlier, but it's off screen.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's still on screen. No, it's still on screen. People
Yeah,
haven't
thank
been
you,
checking.
DK. But yeah, one of the main quotes we always say is this quote by Mumford: "Man is the symbol-making animal." All right. So that's a huge, one of the starting points for our ideas or explanations. But yeah. So yeah, let's watch some of this documentary and see if Mumford comes out with anything interesting. I believe there is like a section or two where he actually talks here, and I think there's others commentary by the filmmaker. But yeah, let's see what happens. And then we'll read Ellul.
There still may be the minor joys, the little adventures, and the hesitant but spontaneous meetings. Even in the shadows of the skyscrapers may be found the whole range of small and personal encounters, the things that need no crowd of spectators, and those that want none. Old men may still have a place in the sun, and the streets of the city may be taken over for the fierce strivings of youth.
Yes, you couldn't be. Then who? Number two. Who me? Yes, you not me. Then who? Jacqueline. Who me? Yes, you couldn't be. Then who? Number one. Who me? Yes, you not me. Then who? Jacqueline. Who me? Yes, you couldn't be. Then who? Number one. Who me? Yes, you not me. Then who? Jacqueline.
The heart of the city should gather together and concentrate all of man's activities, so that the separate patterns of life are shaped into a more meaningful and harmonious whole. But the lively heart of the city is threatened everywhere with empty dullness as we obliterate the old in the name of progress. Even the ostensible controllers of the city may be made homeless by the forces of expansion. The St. James's Club, for more than a century a symbol of financial power and influence in Montreal, was forced to give up its comfortable old quarters. What replaced the St. James's Club? Symbol of financial power? Why, the skyscrapers of finance. So long as land is regarded only as a commodity, to be bought or sold like any other commodity, the only measure of land value will be the amount of profitable space that can be heaped upon it. We are transforming our cities into barren precincts for commerce and finance with inexorable and appalling speed.
Yeah, and he said two inventions, the automobile and the elevator, cause human beings to be compacted into this minute bit of space, right? And so without that, the countryside, right, was more incorporated into the city life.
Well, isn't that about just trying to jam everyone into the 15-minute cities that are part of Agenda 2030 in the first place?
Right. Yeah, it's probably linked to that whole project. Yeah.
I mean, I think I said that I'm pretty sure I said this. I think it was on your show. But I think I've said the 4 possible options, and the best case scenario is that it's AI. And they're trying to make us think the outside world is bad, so everyone moves to cities. And then the way for AI, if their prime directive is to keep humans safe, the easiest way to keep all of us safe is to keep you in a cage.
Yeah, they might do like some type of experiment where they put like some type of virtual dome on a city, and then they start manipulating shit within the city where people start seeing shit happening where it's not really happening. I mean, so yeah, virtual dome or like, cybertronic warfare. I don't know. Could be unleashed on the populace. They already have holograms and shit, right? So they could possibly weaponize holograms.
Yeah. Oh,
right?
That's Project Bluebeam.
It's funny. I typed that exactly as you said it, TML.
Project Bluebeam. See, do you want like a wee outlier of what I don't know how much this will get you in trouble for, because no one else has said this shit yet. Okay, so there's going to be some new shit. I've said it on 1 or 2 other people's shows, but this is going to be some crazy shit. Okay. Shit. All right. So the WEF is apparently shifting its focus from climate change to the water. This coincides with radioactive shrimp being removed from Walmart stores in America. What they failed to tell you is the why, although they have started releasing bits and pieces, but not as much as most people realize. So this all stems from the earthquake and tsunami that happened near Japan in 2011. The one that destroyed the Fukushima nuclear power plant. So everyone thinks it was only, I think everyone got told there was only 2 reactors or something. No, there was 4. There was 4 reactors, but they stored the depleted uranium at the top of the buildings above the nuclear reactors instead of disposing of it properly. I'm not kidding you. And one of the nuclear one of the nuclear reactors, and this is like a witness testimony thing. One of the nuclear reactors apparently just imploded, disappeared, and took most of the building with it. Two of them had normal nuclear meltdowns sort of thing and ended up getting contained. The last one, however, burnt downwards. They built this nuclear reactor above an underwater river. In case of nuclear failure, this underwater river was supposed to cool down the nuclear power plant or the nuclear reactor if any ended up there. Yeah, it hasn't cooled it down. This nuclear reactor has been spewing radiation from Fukushima in Japan since 2011. At least half the northern half of the Pacific Ocean is actually radioactive, and no one should be eating any food from there. The thing is, this has been going on for 14 years. This isn't new. In fact, the guy I learned it from had been talking about it since just after it happened. I only found out about it like 3-4 years ago, and I've been trying to say it since then. Now, this is one of the only two things that I predicted was going to happen and be worse.
Yeah, that's definitely some spooky Saturday.
Oh yeah.
No, this is 100%. No, this is 100% real.
Yeah.
There's actually photos you can go and look up from NOEAA. Is that the right one? Northern Oceanic, whatever it is. Yeah, they've actually got photos of how much the radiation had spread after, I think it was 6 weeks, a year, and 4 or 5 years. I think it's 4. But yeah, they've got photos of the radiation spreading across the Atlantic. And this is from March 2011. So they've been hiding all of this from everyone for 14 years. And now the fact that everyone can debunk climate change, now they're going to bring out something that's actually real.
Yeah, but hold on. Let Avian know.
This one can't be debunked, but they've had 14 years to fix it and didn't.
Yeah, but let Avian come in here.
Yeah, the oceans are in a complete mess. You know, so much stuff. This doesn't surprise me that the nuclear radiation has been leaking into the ocean for so long. And I don't know, I actually played this video game recently, and I can show you some pictures I took. I wanted to share. It's kind of like Deus Ex. Something about it feels fishy to me, like predictive programming. And it also deals with that kind of stuff that DK Sparcy was talking about. If you want, I can share it quickly. Some images I took from it. It's from the download content. Can I share it quickly?
Yeah.
Share. Okay, share screen.
All I can say is go look up for yourself. Like, as I said, NOEAA. I'm pretty sure that's North Oceanic something or whatever. Like, whatever the letters are, the North Oceanic agency that monitors everything. They actually have photos, and it's recent. They've recently published this. Like, this isn't from years ago. They've recently published it, going, yeah, this is how much it spread way back then. It's like, well, if you had the photos from way back then, why didn't you tell anyone way back then?
Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to show this because it actually does touch, and later on it touches on what DK Sparcy is talking about. But I have this theory that a lot of popular media show like stuff like this kind of stuff as predictive programming. So here's something here, about Plum Island. You see, Plum Island is an island that you can look it up. Plum Island, even on YouTube, they do animal human hybrid experiments and other stuff on Plum Island. And this
there's been a few places that's happened.
yeah, and this game has Plover Island. You see PL, it starts with that. And it has Harp here. You know about weather modification technologies?
That's all right. Hey, the guy that I'm talking about and everything I'm talking about, he's actually now facing legal trouble because Japanese scientists said, no, there's no health issue, there's no problem. And he stupidly said that they should die or he wanted to kill them or something. So he's facing, facing stupid charges like this. His whole channel is gone.
During all of that, there was a Japanese doctor that came forward and said not to worry, that if you just watched, if you drank more beer and watched more adult video, that you would be okay.
Yeah, let me continue. Because this I will talk about this
serious. I need to watch more adult video then. I drink enough beer. So it's just the adult video thing I've got to increase. Okay.
Yeah, his central premise was that it relaxes the nervous system enough that you won't be affected by the radiation.
No, what it actually does is fucks with your dopamine. It's if you're looking at shit like that all the time, then in real life, it's not enough because you've been watching shit that isn't going to happen in real life.
Well, anyway,
that's actually what the problem is. That's why you shouldn't be watching porn.
Yeah. Anyway, let me continue about this. It will go into, you see, this game, you play as a shark. This is a man-eater. It's affected by nuclear radiation in the ocean. You see, I think it's predictive programming, and I'm going to show you some areas where you see nuclear radiation. And I think it's predictive programming. This is the download content. It's called Truth Quest for Man-Eater. So you can see Plover Island. It kind of is close to Plum Island. Then you see if there's no such thing as targeted weather warfare, then why am I occasionally inconvenienced by rain, snow, and excessive cold or heat? So I have this theory that they tend to tell you the truth through humor and other stuff. There's a lot more. Every year we're sprayed with billions of pounds of toxic aerosols. That's why you've got to protect your cellular matrix with sulfur shield organic sulfur crystals. Only from Survival Life. That's another one. See, here you go. I'm going to show you there's actual part with nuclear radiation too. Well, intellectually, I understand that adrenochrome is a byproduct of synthetic epinephrine with no practical applications. Emotionally, I understand that it's siphoned directly from children's pineal glands as the immortality of the Luciferian.
Is that in a video game?
Yes, it's from a video game. Let me continue. You can talk after I'm done.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm telling you.
That one statement right there. If people don't understand that, holy crap.
There's way more. There's way more than this. I'm telling you. Just let me get to it. Let me get to it. Yeah. Did you see that? An embedded chip. The insectoids are using a brain-to-brain interface to wirelessly operate these sharks. Yeah. Regarding these spills, I'm proposing complicity on the part of Mayor Wade Hubbard. You see, Hubbard owns 50 shares in Schlumberger, who's owned by Exoco, that's like XCon, basically, who are partners with the Saxwell Gold and Varcon, the manufacturers of oil dispersant, emulsifiers. Therefore, Hubbard made money on the cleanup. That's actually true, I think. You can watch Jesse Ventura talk about that. Jesse Ventura talks about that in his TV series. I highly recommend.
Honestly, this is everything I've talked about over the years that I've been streaming.
And it's in the video.
Everything in this is shit that I've talked about. This is incredible.
Yeah,
it's all one video game.
Yeah, I know. More of these machines dispersing mental poison from hell, creating a lumpen mass of propaganda drugged Americans who'd rather watch Aubrey Dominique take the Cocoa Bob challenge than read the Constitution. You see here. The NWO death squads have made clear their intention to overthrow private property. Extrajudicial killings of all owners of homes with a second bathroom are right around the corner. Mark my words. Okay. You could chalk up 23 oil spills in the last 5 years to incompetence, sure, but I think you should open your minds to the idea that these were planned events. Okay, and this is the nuclear radiation. You see, the shark is created from the nuclear radiation. He becomes a man-eating shark from nuclear radiation. All these recent oil spills are merely contrived events designed to cripple the Gulf fishing industry. That's another one. Then Big Pharma will reveal that they've developed a vaccine. See, right? That's another one. The devious aquatic bioweapon is designed to disperse a mist of viral particulate, a potent combination of Ebola, anthrax, and Lassa fever. And you see that clearly. Yeah, this is you see there's a lot of spots in the ocean in the game with nuclear radiation like this. You see it a lot. You see a lot of this. And you see clearly the NWO sunk this ship to trying to deliver food, water, and medicine to imperiled patriots. Okay, Dead Horse Lake is part of a large open field experiment, a dumping ground for estrogen mimickers to feminize the populace into watching Aubrey Dominic's makeup tutorials rather than Truth Quest. Let me see here. Okay, like heroic Neo, the shark has freed us from the Matrix. Now we can unplug from the metal coils that once enslaved us, leave our mechanical caves, and greet this new dawn of truth. You see, I suppose there's a lesson to be gleaned here, something about how the increasing commodification of the natural world has placed humans on a collision course with an environmental apocalypse. But this is a basic cable television show where people tune in to watch sharks kill people and people kill sharks. So until next fishing season, this is Maneater. Okay, now we see what the NWO has been hiding. Inside sources have ascertained its name, Moloch. Let me see, Moloch. Yeah, I think that's it. And see, I took a lot of screenshots. Yeah, see, that's the island. That's like Plum Island. Yeah, I highly recommend. I recommend Jesse Venturo's TV series. He touches on a lot of stuff. Like he touches on how in Blue Gold, how they're actually drilling fresh water to sell to other countries, and by drilling fresh water in America, that means less Americans get fresh water. You know what I mean? That's not good for our environment. And see, this is the oil. I mean, this is the nuclear radiation. You see tons of these areas in the game. Full radiation pattern. Investigate. See what I mean? Radiation pattern. So quarters. We know that reality is just a mirage. Somewhere through the crack between time and space, great cosmic truths remain, still awaiting discovery. These are the obscure and unmarked points along the road of our truth quest. That's the download content, like I'm saying. And I think I show everything. Yeah, that's all the relevant stuff. I think so. Yeah, okay, that's it. Okay, that's all I want to show you. Wait. There's a lot to take in, right? Yeah, it's
that's a lot there.
Yeah, I do have that theory, though. I truly believe it, that they use predictive programming in popular media to make people. I think the elites do believe in something like karma, because they think that if they tell us the truth with humor, they can lessen the burden of their karma. You see what I mean? I do believe karma exists.
That's what they call cosmic karma.
Yes.
If they let you know, this is what I've heard anyway. Say if you've heard anything different. But what I've heard is they have to let you know, and then if no one stops them, that is considered consent, and their karma is clean.
Yeah, that's what I believe too. Yeah, I definitely think they believe something like that. When I play games like Deus Ex and Maneater, the download content, I'm like, there's no way in hell this is a mere coincidence. You know what I mean? Like,
No. This is like hundreds of year old plan. You can find books written 150 years ago that say this is what they're going to do. The only thing that changed is the technology, so that now they're able to.
I'll give you the screenshots over to Discord if because it might interest you. I'll give the screenshots too.
All right, give me a sec. I just need to go grab another beer because I'm obviously not drunk enough yet. Obviously. You were supposed to laugh.
The deterioration of our cities is not only a physical thing, and it is not new. The final disintegration of imperial Rome was a result of heedless expansion, of concentration on showy technical achievements, of a disregard for meaningful human values. Rome built her empire on savage suppression and exploitation, and her greed, in the end, defeated her. Rome's culture became that of the largely mindless body, servile to its own sensations. rich and poor alike.
Yeah.
It was a parasitical existence, an empty and dependent life filled with second-hand emotions, with unappeased appetites, and with mounting anxieties. Rome was not conquered. The barbarian captured the city from within. A Roman himself described this city where all was for sale or show. A man who loves power and wealth and pleasure should live in Rome, for every street is full of the things he values most.
Ancient Rome presents a series of classic danger signals to warn when urban life is moving in the wrong direction. But the Roman path of domination and exploitation, with its violence, its emptiness, and its anxieties, which turn the city into an instrument of self-destruction, is not inevitable. We have a choice for the hearts of our cities. There's also the path of cooperation, of wider communication and understanding, of respect for intimate, personal, human values. Though civilization after civilization has followed the Roman path into oblivion, there have been certain cities in certain ages that, at least for a period of their lives, took the creative path and realized some of men's highest hopes. We have spoken of Athens, Pompeii, Venice, Florence, Lubeck, Edinburgh, Paris. There is also the exemplary and living contrast of Amsterdam.
When the dynamic flood of capitalism surged through Europe, no city rode it more successfully than Amsterdam. The wealth of new continents packed its warehouses and quadrupled its population in less than 60 years. Yet Amsterdam alone, of all the great 17th century commercial cities, grew in harmony and order. This was the golden age for Dutch scientists, philosophers, writers, poets, geographers, explorers, and above all, painters. It was the age of Rembrandt. Even for the average citizen, it was, if not a golden age, at least better than in other cities. The medieval traditions of community responsibility for the aged, the sick, the poor were retained far longer in Amsterdam than in any other city of the time. As with the cities of Mesopotamia, Amsterdam's survival depended on the control of water. The water that brought mercantile wealth to Amsterdam brought also a more precious and enduring wealth, the preservation of the character of the city itself. To control the water, Amsterdammers had also to control the development and use of all land, public and private. This control tempered the commercial greed that destroyed the fabric of other cities and shaped capitalism's one enduring urban achievement.